Hi, this is Stephen Williams with thecreditrepairshop.com, and I want to make a new video for you. It's been a very busy couple of weeks, and I haven't been able to get to making as many videos as I wanted to, but I made sure that I got this one out because I wanted to give you some updates. If you went to my website, you saw an article that we reposted from a national newspaper about how they're checking credit even more for if you're going to be able to work for someone or to be able to get a promotion at your job, that they are checking credit. Credit is like being used against people to disqualify them, even though they may have the education, they have the experience, they've inserted this additional item, and I believe that it's like having a new Jim Crow for certain people, because we all know that there's plenty of people that have gotten jobs that were not as qualified as certain people, and then you throw this on, and because they've tightened up the discrimination laws, so now this one here is like very open ended, because this, if your credit is messed up, they will be able to use that against you regardless. It doesn't matter, and I don't even think that it's just against minorities. I think that this is against anyone that's trying to come up in any job, or they're trying to start a business or whatever. They're going to be able to use your credit against you. It's just like your reputation. That's basically what they're starting to use credit as another person speaking on your behalf. So you have your references, you have your education, you have your job history, and then you have your credit report speaking for you. And that one seems to be taking more weight than all of the others, due to privacy acts, due to people not wanting to speak about someone else that maybe worked at a different company or whatever. They don't want to be held accountable for it. So now it seems like credit reporting, like what's on your credit report, is going to start weighing more and more, because the employer or the potential business partner or lender, they're going to just be able to say, this is how we see that you live your life, and what's being reported on your credit report, by what's being on there, we either going to approve you or not approve you, or hire you or not hire you, or promote you or not promote you. And they will have a piece of paper that you will not be able to question, because that piece of paper is going to have your history on it. And the only person that logically, even in your own mind, that's going to be responsible for that history on that credit report is yourself. So you have to get your credit repaired. You have to get your credit in search in up to a certain standard, so this will not be able to be used against you. Here's a perfect example. We have a police officer that just signed up for credit repair services with us, and the number one reason, he had four collections on his account, but the number one reason that he signed up is because he said he cannot get promoted to detective by having those collections on there. He has already been warned that this is going to be part of the process that he's going to have to go through on his promotion. So he came to us, and we're going to get those settled and deleted off his credit reports. And so this is very important. He knows this, and I'm telling you that you have to be aware of this. Now, I have my new report here that has the uh, debt that has been released into the market in September. The For September, coming up October, and the numbers that struck that caught my attention again. And if on my last video we had talked about that there was the first time that I had ever seen over $100 million released in 1 month. Well, again, here's another one in credit card debt. $114 million released into the market to be purchased. Another one in $18 million. Another one with mixed credit cards, department stores, $58 million. Here's another one here, $20 million. Again, when I had talked about the cosmetic surgery, again, this one is very high, over $2 million in debt that is being released from people that got cosmetic surgery and didn't fulfill paying that back. We got some mortgages here, $4 million. We got some personal loans, 1.5 million. Another personal loan, 1.7 million. We have some automobile debt over $20 million. So we can see that what they're gonna do is they're gonna. So now this debt is being purchased by debt collection companies, and then the strategy that they're gonna use is that they're going to send out the letters to the people that the companies, the original debtors on these debts. They're going to get a letter in the mail, and it's going to look like it's a request to make payment, but it's a twofold letter. It's saying that pay this debt because we now own it, and we know that this debt was in your name. But also, if you read down further down in the letter, it's going to say if you want to dispute this debt, you have 30 days to dispute it. Most people that know they had that debt, they don't do nothing. They just throw that letter away. The next step that the collection agency is going to take from that is they're going to now go and get a summons to have that person have to come to court. And also on that summons, what they're doing now is they're adding the arrest warrant to that summons. So what they do is they have you come to court. If you don't show up to court, they get the default judgment, and then they have the automatic sign from the prosecutor to have a warrant for your arrest. So if you get stopped for a parking ticket or any violation, a speeding ticket, or anything, they will arrest you and make you come to court to answer to that debt. That is the new way that they're doing it. They're doing it in 22 states. It's about to be, it is legal in all 50 states. But right now, 22 states are actively, aggressively allowing collection agencies to go after people this way. But if in any state, no matter where you're at, in any state, if a debt collector wanted to go and have a warrant put for your arrest, they can do that legally. If you do not show up to court. So step one in the solution process is if you get the letter in the mail, automatically dispute the debt with that company saying, show me proof of contract that I owe you this money. Don't even talk about the original creditor. You need to establish the link between you and them. Then they're going to send you paperwork in the mail showing that they either purchased the debt or that they're collecting the debt for the original creditor. Either which way, the next step that they're going to do, if they send it to you and they say that they prove to you that they purchased the debt, then the next step is you're going to want to avoid them going to court with that document. So you're going to want to get the actual contract of them purchasing your specific debt. And this is a trap that you can actually put them in. And this is one of the traps that I put them in back when I had my credit card debt in the 90s, is that I validated that debt directly with them right after they sent that letter. And they sent me a big stack. And it was showing all these people that they had bought the Citibank debt from, and it had it all blacked out, but it had my name right there. And that's when I had learned that they had bought my debt for pennies on the dollar. They were trying to come after me for $4,500. The most that I had ever charged on that card, because I was 18 years old at that time when I was in the military, was $500. So they had made accrued all this interest and everything on there after they purchased, and they tried to come after me. Long story short, I ended up settling that debt for $500, which was what I believe I had charged. But also, I had learned that I didn't even have to pay that debt. So now the next level in this, when you get that letter from them, is you first establish the link. If you get the link, the next level is to establish if it's past statute of limitations for your state. Every state is different. You have a verbal statute of limitations. You need to look at the contractual statute of limitations. And then some states have a statute of limitations for certain types of debt. for loans, for homes. You got to look at all the laws for your state. So if it passed that test with them, they've gotten you the documentation, it passed the statute of limitations test. The next step for you, you need to push to go ahead and settle that debt. Reason why is you don't want to have this go into court and they use other types of laws against you to get that debt paid, because right now the judges, right now a lot of these judges are on the side of business. They're not on the side of you. And then if you say, okay, I'll get an attorney, you want to spend more money on an attorney when you could possibly settle that debt for a lot less, not even have it go on your credit report if it's not already on there, or you can with the settlement to get it deleted and avoid that whole situation. That's where you want to be at the beginning if you want to cut it off before it starts extending. Now, let's say that you get all of that, they don't want to they prove everything, and you don't go to court, and they end up getting a default judgment. Then the next step is you have to start it over with them. You do the validation. They're going to just say, well, we already got a default judgment. Then you need to go towards settling the debt. If you do it, every state is different. In the state of Wisconsin, if they get a default judgment where you just didn't go to court, then you have only 6 months to reopen it. If you fall between that time frame for your state, then you can reopen it, and then you can ask for that validation, showing the link with them, making sure that it's not past statute of limitations. And then if it meets all of those criteria, then you ask the judge, can you go have some time with them in one of the conference rooms, and you try to come out with work out a deal with them. Believe it or not, at that time, because when I worked out the deal with mine, it was actually when I went to court and I did the settlement right there in the conference room. I had asked the judge to let us go into the conference room to try to work out a deal. And that was with the main lawyer. So when I did all of those validations, they had a young guy that was a lawyer, and he really didn't know nothing. When I was validating, he asked for the continuance, and the judge gave it to him. And then when we came back to court, it was the owner of the law firm, the biggest attorney, the top attorney for their law firm, is who I ended up sitting across from, and then going into the room and doing this negotiation for. That meant that they knew that something had to be done that day, or their whole case was going to be thrown out. And what I didn't know at that time is that the statute of limitations had ran out. And that's why I'm saying, when you get into court, and you need to make sure that you have all of this information from them so you can argue the right way. Because I didn't even have to pay $500. If I would have stated that it's past statute of limitations, they would have never even been able to win the case. But if you're in court and you're able to reopen it, do the validation process that I just talked about earlier in the video. If they get a default judgment and it's past the time frame that you can reopen, then you need to start working directly with them, because no matter what, when you pass that period of time, you've given up your rights to be able to challenge that judgment. You might be able to pay a lot of money and have an attorney go in there and work some miracles, but 9 times out of 10, it's going to be going towards settlement. So then you need to flip your mindset and get into a mode of what will be to get to the best outcome to settle that debt. And then that's going to allow you to move forward. And then when you settle that debt, you need to make sure that debt is settled with a deletion. Make sure that it's settled with the deletion before any payments are made. Settle with a deletion. And then when you settle it with the deletion, you need to, on the back end, if it's on your credit reports, on the back side, you need to dispute those items, showing that you've paid them and that you settled for deletion, just to make sure that they don't get lazy and not remove those from your account. So if you need any help or assistance, please click one of the links below. I have a membership program. I also have a free membership program where you can learn more about repairing credit. I have a paid membership program where you can learn more and also learn how to repair your own credit. And then we have a full service program where we will repair your credit and help you lower your debt also. So this is Stephen Williams with the Credit Repair Shop. Until next time, thank you.